All right, this is Some People, and here today we have with us a very talented artist, creative, visionary. Who are you and what do you do?
Hello, my name is Vincent Savas, and I'm an artist, painter.
Amazing. Okay, and well, why would you say you do what you do?
I paint to express the deepest aspects of my soul.
That's beautiful, brother. So what would you say is your background in relation to your art?
I would say, as far as with the pieces that surround me right now, it's been quite a journey. Exploring the depths of my consciousness and just metabolizing everything that I experience within my own imagination, bringing it to life.
Amen. All right.
Thank you.
Is there any traditional schooling you would say behind your craft? What would you say is your approach to your craft?
I would say that I have a little bit of traditional schooling, but a lot of it has come. A lot of the art that I'm creating at this point in my life has come from just personally just creating from my own imagination.
Amazing. And then, so would you say that's what motivates you to create? What would you say is your motivation behind creating?
The motivation, I think I would have to say that the motivation more than anything comes from needing to speak a language that could not necessarily be spoken through just through words, spoken word. You know, I feel like just through the paint and the pigment and the texture, I can just travel somewhere further, you know.
Okay, that's beautiful. So would you say there's an attachment? Do you think there would be an attachment to your paintings, to your creations?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think with every single one of these paintings, specifically, you know, the more soul I put into it, I think it gets a little trickier to let the painting go, but I don't have something you learn, I think, along the way. You know?
Curse of a blessing, huh? So would you say it's like selfless or selfish? Like the act of, you know, being an artist, creating like this aspect of creating something so beautiful, it'd be hard, you know, like you said, to even let go.
I would say if the volume of creation isn't there and you have a scarce amount of paintings and it's very scarce and you're not creating everything, and then you're afraid of letting that scarcity go, you know what I mean? Then I think it could become selfish. But I think it's selfless if like you're creating just every day painting, and then like you're in that
for the growth.
Yes, yeah, right.
Beautiful. Okay, so what would you say an end goal would look like for you? What would you say an end goal would entail?
As far as the art specifically, like painting.
As far as your journey as an artist.
Oh, right. Well, so I guess the main thing that I'm. The main thing that I'm focusing on, I guess, as far as the long-term journey within the art, is to develop a market that art collectors can trust in. So really thinking long-term.
Amen. Okay, so like, what would you say an accomplished artist looks like to you? What does an accomplished artist look like for you?
For me personally, I would say someone who is creating, right, every day, but also like treating it as a meditation. I think that's accomplishment. You know, not so much the capital aspect, but really just like you're just in tune.
All right. So like, is there a perfect mood? Is there
I think playing uplifting music is very important.
Okay.
You know, because it channels a certain frequency. you know. So I think having that balance of movement and the right frequency can lift your mood, and I think just staying in that zone, if you know there's a certain pocket that you feel good creating in, I think just tapping back into that space is essential.
Home base. So what would you say then in those frequencies? Like, what would be one of your favorite emotions to portray in your art, in your paintings?
I would say it's like hyper realistic, euphoric, like something that, like, whatever the energy that you would require to travel through space and time, like, you know, this sort of light speed, like this sort of, like, you know, just capturing that moment. Like, before I was here and then I ended up there, so whatever that space in between, and like that excitement of like birthing a new idea, of like, you know, traveling through, you know, like just different memories and expressing them through different, you know, compositions and colors, right, and just bringing it to life. Wow, just really architecting it.
Beautiful. So in that sense, like, when you create, what would you say is your best mindset to be in, or like what is the best mindset to be in while creating?
Not to treat it like a martial art, but I do try to empty everything within me, and I try to just allow the counsel of holy intervention, you know, just to like flow through me and let my hands just become like
a vessel. Yeah. All right.
Yes, sir.
I understand. So when did you decide to pursue this passion?
I would say I was around 17 when I really knew, like, this is the direction. But way already, like at 12, 11, 13, 14, like I was already like there, you know, and of course you have teacher support, like people, friend support, people around you support, you know, so that's always been something pushing me forward.
Oof, amen. When would you say it became real to you?
I guess the more and more I worked on specific projects, and I guess the more I sold works of art, and just also when I'm tapping into a new mode of creating, and a painting gets picked up, then I really know, like, okay, just, you know, keep drawing from your gut and just keep going. Like, you just keep painting what feels right to you.
Oh, in that sense, there's a perfect follow-up. So what would you say is the role of an artist in society today, or in general?
I think there's a certain momentum that every artist, like, you know, there's a spark of inspiration, and I feel that it echoes through the ages. So there's maybe works of art that were created years ago that just get seen by an artist that's up and coming, you know, that inspires a new wave of creativity. And so, like, this constant need to keep the ancestral path of creativity going is, I feel like, the core of it.
In a sense of creation, so upon creation, and, you know, when someone gets to see that, do you feel that there is more than just face value in not only what you do, like your actual work, but also in the work of an artist, like that there's more that goes on behind?
Yeah. I definitely think so. Yeah, and I do believe that it borderlines on the spiritual, you know, to be able to be in touch with, I guess, your eternal self, you know, and being able to just echo that out onto the canvas so it can be perceived and picked up by other human beings that might feel the same way, you know, and then get to kind of go on that journey together.
So would you say that you have a dream project per se, or vision for a grand project, something that you've always dreamed of?
I do believe that one day I can tap into having a solo exhibition and, like, really arriving at that platform. But I think what's very important, I would say, is to develop and articulate exactly what it is that I'm trying to present to the world, but also really arrive at a conclusion and maybe create something with substance.
Amen. Longevity. So what's one thing as an artist you would say you can't do without?
As an artist, something that I can't do without. That's a good question. Just trying to stop me in my tracks with the question. I guess it's just loved ones. I guess ultimately out of everything is just like the people that you just have around you. I think that's what it comes down to, really, because I think the art is just an escape ultimately, like just a place where I can express certain aspects of my, my perspective.
What are some of your most favorite accomplishments you've done so far?
I would definitely say a lot of the work that I've done with the design team, PDG, the Precision Design Group, the projects that we pulled together, that's like some of the greatest accomplishments, I would say. But as far as like just building a team from scratch and
if you don't mind, actually, so do you mind introducing
oh yeah, 100%.
What that is and
the Precision Design Group. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to because I veered off, but I would just say that as far as a design team and aligning myself to be more of a team player opposed to just being an individual artist that is focusing on his own path and career. The design team element in my life has just allowed me to be able to expand and think outside of like being a little more selfless in the process.
Amen. Understandable. Is there a piece that you're drawn to more than others? A certain style per se?
I would say to a certain extent, if I'm working on a collection or a series, I would be really connected to that idea for a little while. And then there's like certain variations within that idea that just keep singing to me, and then I think I just keep picking it up from there, and eventually hoping that a new, like a bigger idea will come through, and then just kind of jumping from cloud to cloud to cloud, it's like
just be basking in the universe, so to speak.
Yeah.
So do you think that you have anything to say to people that like might struggle a little bit with the idea of being an artist? Like, have you struggled with the idea of being an artist? And what advice could you give for that?
I think art is like letting out a big scream. So I think if we could find that, and we all need to let out a big scream, so it's just this kind of journey of just allowing ourselves to let that out, so I think if we could work through that process, we could all enjoy just picking up a pencil and just start marking up a piece of paper and just allowing to see what the reflection is sending back at us.
Oh, that's, wow, all right. I like that. So if you, it's kind of loaded, but if you were to, let's say, pass today, what is something that you think you want to do, the imprint that you would like to leave on the world today?
It would be to exercise the creative muscle, but also to just channel the purest form of yourself. Whoever you are at this very moment, just let that echo through all eternity. And there's somebody in a different time space that's gonna receive that.
Longevity, amen. Living your truth for sure.
Yep.
See, let's follow up. Let's see. So is there a specific process you say you have as to creating your art?
It begins with centering my energy. And from there, I align my focus to the emptiness of space.
Wow.
And within that, I can travel through all space and time and allow the work that has already been preconceived to be created. I would say, I think the staple moment when I really thought like, all right, like I'm painting, right? Is like, so I lost in the 7th grade the art show, but my art teacher bought me art supplies. And in that art set was an oil painting kit. And there was like 2 canvases in there. And I remember like I painted on these 2 canvases, and these were my first 2 oil paintings, So I think that would have been 7th grade, so I don't know, maybe 12, 13. So it's like, but it's just the fact that like I lost, right? But then the teacher believed enough to just go out and buy art supplies and say like, keep doing this. So it's like, it's a little push. And I feel like in life we all just need like a little
There are a lot of guiding lights.
I like the guiding light. Yup.
Hey man, all right. You explained a little bit about what art has meant to you, but so in what it means to you, how do you interpret the meaning of your work?
The interpretation, it usually comes from, how would I interpret the work? What I usually like to do is I hear what the viewer has to say, right? And within that, I pick up a lot of things that I can relate to as far as different aspects of this. So it's just kind of it's almost like as if I paint, like, you know, so you're like, you know, this baby is born and it's constantly its personality is kind of just expressing itself to you, and in time it's like the same thing with a painting. I would, you know, paint a painting, and then in time people would say, oh wow, there's this there and there's this there, and then it kind of like unveils itself back to the artist.
Have you worked damn, my bad. Alright. So, throughout your time as an artist, who have been your biggest artistic influences?
Influentially, I remember I really genuinely enjoyed artists like El Greco, of course, like Modigliani. Like, you know, there's certain artists where I just know, like, yeah, like they really figured something out on the canvas, you know, and I think that kind of propelled me, I think, at one point to just want to figure something out on the canvas as well. But I can't really say that the inspiration aspect, I haven't really been able to. Yeah, maybe that's something within myself that I have to like go back to museums and go back to, like, you know, and the galleries and like really explore art, because I have been heavily invested in the art that I agree.
Hey man, so where are you from, and how would you say that affects your work?
Well, I was born in Munich, Germany, and then I came to this country in 2002 after 9/11. So I would say, like, from 2002 to 2022 now, you know, it's just the experience of, like, the American experience, you know. It's also intertwined with capitalism, the American dream, you know, creating something from nothing, and I think it all kind of intersects. Yeah, you know, it's kind of...
That's amazing. And through that, your creativity, how would you say you prefer to express it? Like, what is your favorite medium?
I would possibly say through oil painting.
And for the people who are?
My name is Vincent Savas, and if you're looking to become an art collector, it's a great place to start. You know, a lot of you might have a Picasso, a Modigliani, a Duchamp, but you don't got a Savas.